Today we're making the best baked oatmeal. Hi, I'm Carrie with eatingonadime.com, and we're on a mission to help families eat well on a budget. If you don't know what we do, we run this free website, eatingonadime.com, where you can get tons of tested and family-friendly recipes. Now today I'm going to show you how to make baked oatmeal. Now, I have had several different baked oatmeals and didn't like them. They were dry, crunchy, didn't love the texture, but I'm obsessed with this baked oatmeal recipe, and I think you will be too. After many attempts, we have come up with the perfect combination that you can make once and you can literally eat on it all week. Now, you can find the full recipe linked in the description below, or you can just go to our site, Eating on a Dime, and search baked oatmeal and it will pull right up. First thing we need to talk about is the actual oats. Did you just see Puppy Tail walking by? That was Rio. So everybody say, hi Rio, and then let me know your dog's name below. These are Old Fashioned Oats, not Quick Oats. That's really important when you're making this baked oatmeal. Don't accidentally grab the Quick Oats. And again, it doesn't have to be a certain brand. You can use the off brand. Just make sure they say Old Fashioned on the label. First, we're going to preheat the oven to 375 degrees. Next, you're going to need one banana, and we're going to mash it into a large mixing bowl. Now, I don't know about you guys, but if you have a really ripe banana, I like to throw them in the freezer. So you can do that too. Just bring it from the freezer, dump it in here, microwave it for a few seconds to let it thaw out, and then just mash it up. But we love just keeping our ripe bananas. I missed that, so I got to eat that real quick because that would be rude. We're going to take a fork while I'm eating, and we're going to mash it up. I personally like to use a bigger fork. It's just my personal preference, but you do you. You can also do a hand mixer, and it doesn't have to be perfect. You're just getting it so that way we can mix everything else in with it. Once you get it going, you just keep moving it to mash it into like baby food, honestly, just like you would if you were doing a banana bread. Then we're going to add 1 3/4 cups of milk. You can do regular milk, skim milk, or even like almond milk. Then you're going to need 1/3 cup of maple syrup or honey. It's just a way to naturally sweeten it. I apologize. But honey or maple syrup will work. I like to use real maple syrup because, well, it tastes better. Now we're going to melt 2 tablespoons of butter. So my microwave is down here. So I'm just going to melt it in like 30-second intervals just to get it nice and melted. While that's going, I'm going to crack in 2 eggs into the bowl. And these are large eggs. And then we have 3 teaspoons of vanilla. Let me check my butter. A little bit more. So we have our vanilla extract going in, and then brown sugar. So we got a tablespoon. I think we need 1 more tablespoon if I remember correctly. Yeah, 1 more. I'm going to start mixing this up while that butter is finished melting. Okay. Butter looks good. It's nice and melted. See, it didn't take long. That's the trick with butter, is melting it nice and slow in the microwave so it doesn't splatter all over everything. Now it's time for our Old Fashioned Oats. Remember, we don't want Quick Oats. I'm using my Pyrex measuring spoon. And then we're going to measure out 3 cups. You can measure them out like 3 cups at a time. You can see Rio, he wants to see what I am doing. Rio, do you want to know what this is? Oatmeal. Well, it's oats, not oatmeal yet. We're going to throw this in, but you can measure it with just like a regular one, but that's kind of my tip, is just to measure it in a bigger one. It makes life so much easier. Then we're going to throw in a teaspoon of baking powder and a teaspoon of cinnamon. As you can see already, you probably have almost all the ingredients already at home to make this. And then a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Take your spatula And we're going to give this a good mix. Mix everything together. Oops, I think I splattered. I always get stains on my shirt, and I'm like, Carrie, you should wear an apron. But it's funny, the only time I wear aprons is on like Thanksgiving. I think that's it. Oh, that's funny. I need to wear them more often. Okay, we're just going to get this nice and mixed together. Then we're time to add in our fruit. We're going to do 1 pint of blueberries. Now, the fun thing about this recipe is we love the blueberries in there, but you can do any kind of berry. Well, you could do any kind of fruit, honestly, but berries, raspberries, strawberries, berry mix is great. We're doing fresh, which, by the way, I have to make sure it's not poisonous. Love blueberries, but you can also do frozen. Then we need pecans. Again, optional, but I feel like it just makes the recipe, so throw them in there. You need a half a cup, but we are going to do half of that right now and save the other half for the topping. And the reason we don't throw these in when we're mixing up originally is because, you know, blueberries can break and bust and you don't want them to. So we're just going to fold this in, which just means we're gently mixing it so those blueberries don't burst and fall apart. I think it's fine if they do, but it won't be as pretty as you're going to see in our pictures on eatingonadime.com. Now we're going to take a 9x9 baking dish. Again, you can do an 8x8. You can even do a 9x13. The problem is the 9x13 is going to be super thin, so I don't recommend that. An 8x8 will just be thicker and it will need to cook longer than what we're doing today. 9x9 seems to be the happy medium for us because it's not too thick. If your mixture seems kind of liquidy, that's okay. That's what you want. So I don't want you to think you did something wrong. It will be delicious, trust me. We're going to pour this right in. I sprayed it with nonstick spray in case you didn't see that. And then we're just going to spread it out in the pan. You're just going to use your spatula and lightly push it down and spread it out evenly. I like to kind of shake it a little bit just to get it nice and flat. Once it's all pretty and flattened, you're now going to add the remaining chopped pecans right on top. I love this part because it just makes it look really pretty when it's finished, and you have that extra crunch right in your first bite. So I'm just sprinkling this around. Now we just have to head to the oven. Now we're going to place it in the oven and we're going to allow it to cook for 42 to about 45 minutes. Oh, I'm tripping over a puppy. God, these dogs. You guys know. Look at it. It's beautiful. You can tell it starts separating from the side a little bit and a little bit brown. You can also test it with a toothpick if it comes out clean, but just make sure you don't punch through like a blueberry because, you know, blueberry's not going to come out clean. Now, I like to let this sit for a few minutes before we dive in, just because it makes it set and it's easier. It comes out more in like a cake form instead of like a sloppy oatmeal form. So we're going to let it set for a few minutes and then we're ready to dive in. Now it's time for my favorite part, which is taking a bite. Now, I cut it like it's a cake. So I just use a spatula and cut it like it's a coffee cake or something like that. We were just talking about ways to serve it. And I personally love to drizzle a little maple syrup on top. But that's just because I like things overly sweet. I just have a sweet tooth. But serve it with your favorite cup of coffee and you have such an amazing breakfast idea. Sorry about that. We got a pesky fly that got in here. And okay, but to add more protein, guys, you can just serve this as a side on breakfast. So since this doesn't have hardly any protein, you can add eggs and bacon, and it's kind of like you would do like eggs and toast. You would do eggs in this oatmeal, but you can add more protein to it. And one great option is just adding some protein powder to that mix. And you can easily add protein to this recipe. It's like I'm saying, you've got to go to our site, Eat on a Dime. We have lots of tips and tricks, different ways that you can make it and serve it and make it your own. But try this. Try it, the original version. I think you're going to love it. Now, once you do try it, make sure you head to our site and leave a review. That's the #1 way that we get to hear from you. We love to hear how you like our recipes and if you did anything different. And it really helps support the community and helping other people be able to make it too, because they'll see your review as well. Okay, I got to go in for a real bite. No more fake bites. Let's try this thing. I know, Toby. You want a bite too, don't you? Perfect. Even Toby wants a nibble. It's so good. You know, I'm like a powdered sugar obsession, and I would love a little powdered sugar sprinkled on top, but that's just me, right? Okay, guys, I am out of here. I think that's it. That's all we got to talk about. I hope you're inspired to try this baked oatmeal. It's really easy. It keeps great in the fridge, so you can eat on it all week, a little zap, and you can microwave it, but you can also serve it cold or room temperature. It's kind of a no-brainer. So your next brunch, next holiday, or honestly just to eat all week, go ahead and try it and make it. Remember, the full recipe is linked in the description below. And also wanted to remind you, if you love today's video, don't forget to like and subscribe. We love having you a part of our community. You guys have a great day, and I will see you next time. Bye, friends.